Thank you, Zimbabwe, for tuning into yet another informative edition of your program. This is Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, a platform which we specifically created for our farming community here in Zimbabwe and the various stakeholders who participate in the agricultural industry right here in Zimbabwe. Now, in this very episode, we are here in Mashonaland West, where we'll be doing youth in agriculture profiling. An exercise which was made possible by our government through the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Resettlement right here in Zimbabwe. It is going to be spearheaded by our youth desk in the ministry under the guidance of our Chief Programs Coordinator, Mr. Nikros Kajengo. Mr. Kajengo, thank you for joining us today.
Greetings to you viewers. Thank you so much.
Yes, Mr. Kajengo, as we get into our episode, we are here in Mashonaland West, where we are doing youth profiling. We are here at a farm which is being managed and activities undertaken by a youth. Can you please introduce our guest to the audience there at home and even some words of inspiration now talking about our government support towards our youth in Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much. I'm humbled to be at this platform at this hour, where at the moment we are at Neighbor Farm, Urungwe District, March West Province, hosted by a farmer, Pardon Muri, who is known for doing very well. We have prolonged and resumed with profiling, whose essence is to ensure that the good work done by the young people is known by everybody, including young people in marginal areas. Now, what we are doing here is guided by sound policies put in place by the new dispensation under the leadership of His Excellency the President, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa. Well and good. Agriculture, as you may know, remains the chief means of livelihoods for our people. As you are seeing, tobacco is one of the major crops that can sustain the lives of many people in Zimbabwe. Mr. Pardon Muri is one of the pioneers in terms of youth we have been spearheading, pushing, and of course, coming up with strategies to ensure that tobacco is attractive to the young people and young farmers, and of course, including the upcoming farmers. So here we are.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kajengo. That was very detailed. Now, as we get deeper into our conversation, I understand that 67% of our population, which is about 13 million, is made of the youth. And about 70% of our population rely on agriculture for their livelihoods, repayment of their debts, payment of their medical bills. I would like us to talk about the government support, in particular towards the youth. We are moving towards achieving Vision 2030 as a country. And if you look at Sustainable Development Goal number 2, it takes off poverty alleviation. Number 1 talks of zero hunger, eradication of hunger. The government support towards the youth in Zimbabwe, focusing it in agriculture.
Thank you very much. It's very clear, it's beyond doubt that government of Zimbabwe is geared towards ensuring that Zimbabwe attains an upper middle income society by the year 2030. NDS 1, point number 13, priority number 13, talks about the need to support youth. So youth is one of the national priorities in terms of NDS 1. Also, it's very clear that recently a revised policy for youth generally has been adopted or passed by our cabinet. So it means that the government is committed. It's a reflective that the future is bright for young people. So coming on to agriculture, His Excellency the President established our desk, an agricultural youth desk,
True,
whose mandate is to mainstream young people so that they take agriculture as a noble career. We are rebranding our agriculture. We have got various colleges of agriculture. We have got 8 colleges of agriculture, my sister, that are training farmers, in particular the youth. If you see, you can agree with me that, my sister, of all the 8 colleges, the requirement is 5 O-level. And obviously, if you talk of 5 O-levels, for those who want to do diplomas or certificates, obviously we are referring to the young people. It's their opportunity to earn a living through agriculture. It's an opportunity that has been rendered to them by the government. We have got a bank, Empower Bank. You know, we are trying to create some synergies and opportunities for the young people. Profiling is one of the pillars that can help conscientize the public on the splendid work, good work done by the young people in the agricultural fraternity.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kajengo. Now looking at you, you are carrying 2 hands of tobacco. We are talking of export growth. Now we have issues in our economy such as food security, food insecurity, we have trade imbalance, we are advocating for export growth.
Yes.
How can the youth in agriculture work towards addressing such issues in our economy? Your words of encouragement.
Thank you very much. It has to be known that the negativity in terms of balance of trade has been so catastrophic.
Very true.
That as young people, it's our duty, it's our obligation to make sure that our country moves forward. At the moment, we are facing a number of predicaments, many made, social, and even, natural. We are talking of COVID-19 national pandemic. We are talking of illegal sanctions. These are national predicaments, national problems we can, address. We need some strategies like, where young people organize themselves. They take agriculture seriously as a commercial business, taking agriculture as a noble profession. That's our career. So those youth who say there is no jobs in Zimbabwe, that kind of thinking has to be marginalized out of existence.
Very true.
We have got employment opportunities in Zimbabwe like this agriculture. There are huge opportunities for employment. So tobacco is one of the areas. If you talk of cotton, tobacco, maize, among different enterprises, they can help enhance the livelihoods. So the future is bright for the young people. Let's work together. Let's cooperate, coordinate, consolidate, work as a team.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kajengo. Now, as we round off this segment, I'd like us to talk about accessibility to land. I understand that most of our youth in Zimbabwe might not have direct accessibility to land. They might be living with their parents, some are leasing, some are renting, some are even going on to the extent of buying. Let us talk about accessibility of land issues to the youth. Some might say, you know what Pardon is doing, I can do better than that, but I do not have land. Let us talk about the land issue when it comes to the youth.
Thank you very much. It has to be known by the youth that it's uncalled for. It's neither desirable nor necessary to keep on crying, saying, I want land. Firstly, youth must know that we have got various models.
Yes.
We have got communal model. Those in communal areas must make use of their communal space for the good of the agricultural sector. Now, for those who want to apply A1 or A2, it has to be done formally. And there is procedure. It has to be followed. They apply through districts, through provinces, and they have to stand guided. We have got offices scattered throughout the country. Every district has got agri-tax, lands department. They have to engage those offices. They apply formally. Youth are known for discipline. Youth are known for hard working. Youth are known for Ubuntu. They must follow the procedure.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kajengo. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Welcome. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Thank you.
On that note, viewers of Ubuntu to the Youth, we are going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the second segment of your program. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness. Now, viewers, we encourage you to be a part of these conversations. Feel free to get in touch with the producer, Wadzanai Manyore, on 0772-807-506. Make a follow-up on this episode and more, and leave your comments and suggestions on our YouTube channel, Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also on Facebook, and we are there as Agribusiness with Wadzanai. We are also now available on Twitter, and our Twitter handle there is at Agribusiness110. Now, we are here in Mashonaland West Province, Karoi District, Naba Estate, where we are joined by Mr. Pardon Muri, a youth farmer we are going to be profiling today. Now, earlier on, before we went to the break, Mr. Kajengo was telling us of Ubuntu in the youth. Youth are known for hard work, are known for discipline, are known for diligence. Mr. Muri, thank you for joining us in this segment.
Thank you so much, Waza, Linjan, Mama viewers.
Thank you. Now, as we get into our discussion, the purpose of this visit is to analyze your farming activities, is to profile you, seeking to equip some of the youth who are out there, to moralize them, to give them advice. Can we maybe start off with the enterprises that you have here? What are you doing, your activities, starting from the first to all of them that you're doing?
Basically, what I can say here, what we are doing here, we are doing our main crop. We do tobacco seedlings. We are doing tobacco seedlings for almost a lot of more than 4,000 tobacco farmers in Mashonaland West. Okay. Tobacco seedlings. Then also we are doing tobacco ourselves. This year we have about 100 hectares of tobacco and also maize. Okay. Maize and soybeans and cotton. Those are our main crops. Then part of horticulture, onions and cabbage. That's
okay.
Other things that we're
Can
doing.
you maybe give us the exact hectarage of these enterprises, these cropping enterprises?
In terms of seedlings, this year we have done that's about close to 3,000 hectares. Okay. In terms of tobacco seedlings. Then in real tobacco, let's talk about 100 hectares of tobacco. Then we go to maize. We have about 350 hectares of maize, but not on this farm. Okay. We actually having a lot of farms that we are leasing. Okay. We are leasing. We have also cotton, about 15 hectares of cotton. Then we've got cabbages. We've got onions. Cabbages, we'll be talking about 150,000 heads of cabbages. Then about 4 million bulbs of onions.
Okay, that was very detailed. Now, I'd like us to talk about farm management. You are into various enterprises. You're undertaking quite a number of enterprises. And management becomes fundamental, becomes of key essence if you are going to be getting a proper investment on each and every dollar that you would have invested. Let us talk about management. How do you manage this as a youth? And even your sources of funding, how are you comprehending the dynamics in our economic environment as a youth?
In terms of management, I think it's, when as a farmer, it's all about yourself. When you're doing a business, you should have principles of how to run a farm. We've got a very good organogram. We've got foremen, the manager, the farm manager, I myself. Those they are the people that are backing the farm.
Okay, let us talk about cost reduction. There are costs in our agricultural industry that production costs can be very high, and they can in turn end eating into the profits or your profit margins that you will be making. How are you managing in terms of cost reduction, ensuring that your costs do not end up eating into the profits that you are making, given that we have a sort of like volatile economic environment at the moment, and some might be discouraged to enter into farming? But how are you managing in terms of cost reduction? I understand that if you look at tobacco, it's a very capital intensive crop, which requires capital injections, huge capital injections. Maybe how are you managing your enterprises?
I think as a farmer, the advice that I can give to other farmers in terms of the cost reduction is sort of mechanization. Like communal farmers, they must just do away with this, the old curing facility, especially on tobacco, the old curing facilities. Let's get the use of tunnels, these chongololo that have got only one heat source of curing tobacco. If you can see this chongololo is being used by just only one worker. Okay. Unlike when you are operating all these conventional, but you need more than 10 people that should be make sure all these barns they are working very well in terms of maintaining the temperature and the shifts. These are very easy to run. Also, for in maize production, it's the only thing is mechanization. Let's do away these things of marking and of markers. Use planters and tractors when planting and boom sprays to avoid those. When you go to maize, there's no need of saying you need a lot of labor into working in a maize field. What you need is the drive. The drive of a tractor, the single driver can do all things on a maize field. He does planting, he does spraying, he does harvesting. So in terms of cost reduction, I think if more of mechanization, I think is the only way to.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muri. I understand that you are speaking into precision agriculture, use of various technologies in order to be efficient when it comes to capital uses. Now, as we round off our segment, I would like us to talk about smart agriculture, implementation of smart agriculture in our various enterprises. There are calls on climate change. We are now living in volatile times where our seasons are shifting. Each and every season is different from another. When it comes to calls on smart agriculture, that our permanent secretary in the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Settlement is always talking about it. Are climate proof. Be sensitive when it comes to issues to do with climate change. What are your sentiments on that?
As a young farmer who is into practice of it, what I can say to other farmers, you know, like of us, the only way is to make sure you are not much affected by the climate changes. Like if you check, for instance, for us who are doing tobacco, you should get into use of flood trays. Let's get away from these things of doing seed beds. Let's try, like this season, we had a good season. For those farmers who are very fortunate to try and maintain their dam dew siltation, I think those are other things that we can say can help us fight the climate change that is happening in this country. And also for farmers that are doing tobacco, you know, they should also, especially the communal farmers, we encourage them that they should do away in the use of indigenous trees.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muri. That was very detailed. On that note, viewers, we are going to go on a short commercial break. We'll be right back with this and more in the third and final segment of your program. Don't go anywhere. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned to Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness. We are here in the third and final segment of your program, and we are still here at Naba Estate, a plot that is being leased by Pardon Muri. And earlier on, Pardon was here telling us of his activities, his operations, how he is, surviving in these issues of climate change, how he is practicing cost reduction in his operations. Now, at this point in time, I am joined by Mrs. Patience Chakuinga. She is the head credit and retail of Empower Bank right here in Zimbabwe. Mrs. Chakuinga, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Wata, and how are you, viewers?
Thank you so much. Now, as we get into our discussion, Empower Bank, what is it about? How is it going to enhance youth in agriculture, their practices, their farming activities? What do you resemble? What do you represent?
Thank you for that. Empower Bank is a financial institution that resembles and stands for the interest of youth in terms of their financial requirements. The bank is there and is a mandate to serve the youth across all sectors, be it agriculture, mining, and other such sectors. And by youth, we mean anyone who's aged between 18 to 35. They need a fair chance for them to start up their businesses, to be capacitated to actually get the funding to support their ventures. That's what the bank stands for. The bank is also operating like any other financial institution. It comes with a SIM switch enabled debit card so that our youth can also be able to use that card to swipe and do their transaction within any retail outlets. It also comes with mobile banking where they can also do the transfers across their networks in terms of moving the funds from the bank to the mobile network platforms.
Okay.
So it's a bank that has covered everything, stretching even as far as offering world remit services where they can also collect their diaspora remittances.
That was very detailed, Patience. Now we are going to talk about, I understand that this episode, just the fact that we are doing it, our audience there at home, if they are the youth in agriculture, they are busy taking notes. And I know my phone is going to be ringing tonight, inquiring about finances. But let us talk about the qualities. What do you look at when you are getting into funding a youth? The qualities of the youth that you would say, look, we are going to sponsor your activities. We are going to finance you. We are going to give you capital so that you do so and so. What do you look at? The most fundamental qualities of a youth if they are going to be engaged by the Empower Bank?
We want a youth who's passionate about what they are doing with integrity, who know that when they borrow from the bank, they also have to repay so that others have a chance to also come and access that same funding.
Thank you so much, Patience. As we round off this segment, before I invite the next guest, let us talk about financial literacy and its importance when it comes to issues to do with agriculture in Zimbabwe. Our youth. Some of our youth are not very much, did not attend tertiary education whereby they might have done accounting or economics, but they still are passionate about agriculture. Financial literacy. And do you have maybe a provision for those that might want to get into agriculture, but when it comes to financial literacy, they are not up to knot? What can you say about financial literacy?
Thank you for that. What we do as an institution, we offer financial literacy training. We don't charge for that.
Okay.
Because we want them to be able to make sure that they maintain their operations as a business. So we teach them on record keeping, on doing their business plans, and any other key areas that are necessary for them to really stand up as astute business people. So we offer it as part and parcel of how we are also enabling them to be empowered.
Thank you so much. There you heard it, viewers. Financial literacy courses are for free at Empower Bank. If you do not understand and articulate well issues to do with business finance, feel free to get in touch with the Empower Bank, which is in various spheres of our country. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thank you so much. My pleasure as well.
At this point in time, viewers, as we round off Agricultural New Directions, Agribusiness, I am joined by Tawanda Chagwadikira, the Youth Programs Coordinator in Mashonaland West. Tawanda, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for allowing us and accompanying us to come here at Mr. Pardon Mori's farm, where he's doing his activities. You may meet the viewers.
Thank you, Wadza. Greetings, viewers.
Thank you. As we get into the end of our segment, I would like you to just give us a brief synopsis of the farming activities in Mashonaland West, just a snippet, given that you are now called MASH-based, meaning that this is where most of our agricultural activities take place. Your comments, your sentiments on that.
So, Mash West, we have a lot of different crops, including wheat, tobacco, and soya beans, and other crops, but we're also into animal husbandry, which is keeping of cattle, goats, and other animals. It is a very big province. Actually, we are the best when it comes to farming.
MASH-based.
MASH-based.
Yes.
When you talk of the best comes from here. Yeah, right. The good thing about Mash West is that we coming up with the different initiatives where we're trying to bring in tobacco companies, where tobacco companies is being decentralized along the province. As we speak right now, there are different tobacco companies in different districts in trust of devolution of the president. So there's no need of selling tobacco to Harare. You simply take your tobacco to Karoi, yes, and then you have all the process is done there, the payments and everything. So Mash West, in terms of progress, is going well.
Thank you so much. That's
why it's called Mash Best.
Yes. This was a great pleasure having you with us today and allowing us to come to Mashonaland West in your company. Your final words, even your word of advice, your vote of thanks, thanking the executive here in Mashonaland West as we round off our episode.
Thank you. I think my thanks goes first to His Excellency President Mnangagwa for involving the youth in the agricultural production and supporting them without discrimination. On the youth, I want to advise that the youth is the time that we must be involved. We've got a listening president. So this is the chance, and you must take advantage of it. And the future which you want, we are the ones which make it. I want to say to Mash West leadership, we are very privileged to have working resident minister, Honorable Mary Muliswa, Wakuru Edu, Baba Waziambi, Mkoma Msengi, and other youth leaders. We are working together, and thank you so much for your support. We look forward for a better Mash West. And we promise the leadership that we work hard, we work tirelessly to build the future. And we will work together with the relevant authorities, following the setup procedures. But at the same time, I would like to make a call for the youth who are not involved in farming to say, no, this is the chance. Come and join the government initiatives. This country is farm-based, is agro-based. So if you are not involved into the agriculture, it means you are losing it somewhere. Because our country depends on agriculture. We've got all to understand that for the way forward of the building of a better Zimbabwe. It's all about production. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chagwadika. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Okay, thank you, Wadzanai.
There you heard it, viewers. Production. Zimbabwe is an agro-based economy. From me, your host, Wadzanai Manyore, and Mukoma Dani Daniel Muranganwa. Have yourselves a fabulous evening. Thank you for watching.